Y'all have lost y'all damn minds. You got to be crazy when you talk pressure with LeBron. The pressure. I just stop it, okay? Because people were turned off by the excessive physicality that folks were witnessing. This is the era that Michael Jordan had to go through. It was tough everywhere you turned, and the game was physical. LeBron comes in. By the time LeBron comes in, you could sit up there and get a technical foul for passing game.
There's a moment when the truth doesn't whisper, it roars. When barbershop debates hit a fever pitch, when social media timelines overflow with endless comparisons, one voice cuts through the noise with pure, unapologetic fire. Stephen A. Smith. And this time, he's not debating, he's not negotiating, he's detonating, because the disrespect has gone too far. The myths, the narratives, the watered-down hot takes, they bury the truth under layers of revisionist history. And Stephen A. is here to dig it back out, piece by piece, scar by scar, to here's the reality he lays bare. Michael Jordan survived a league far more brutal than anything LeBron James has ever faced. This isn't opinion. This isn't a casual barbershop take. This is cold, hard basketball truth. And when Stephen A. unloads it, the entire room falls silent. We hear it all the time. LeBron has faced pressure like no one before him. According to Stephen A., pure madness, nonsense, a lie dressed up as fact. The world, he says, has lost its mind because pressure? Jordan didn't just face it. He lived in it. He thrived in it. He was forged by it. LeBron grew up with cameras flashing in his face since high school, sure. But that's not the same as what Jordan endured. That's not the same as walking into Detroit and being slammed to the hardwood every single time you touch the paint. That's not the same as running into Boston's bruises, night after night. When physical pain was just the entry fee to the playoffs, Jordan didn't have a branding empire cushioning his image. No social media army rushing to defend him. No carefully crafted narrative to soften the blows. What he had were critics, haters, and assassins in jerseys ready to end his reign before it began. Every possession was survival. Every series was warred up. LeBron is being tested, no doubt. But Jordan was hunted. Jordan was targeted. Jordan was forced to build greatness not on highlight reels, but on scar tissue.so. When Stephen A. says stop it, he's not just dismissing a bad take. He's drawing a line in the sand. He's saying enough with the softness. Enough with the exaggeration. Enough with rewriting history to fit a modern lens. Because in Stephen A.'s eyes, Jordan's era wasn't just tougher, it was merciless. And toughness, not just talent, is what separates a legend from the merely great.
Y'all have lost y'all damn minds. You got to be crazy when you talk pressure with LeBron. The pressure. I just stop it.
Stephen A. doesn't live in fantasyland. He doesn't pretend LeBron James isn't one of the greatest athletes to ever walk the earth. He gives LeBron his respect, and rightfully so. The chosen one. A teenager on Sports Illustrated. A man who's carried the weight of expectation for over 20 years without scandal, without folding, without ever losing his relevance. That alone, legendary. But Stephen A. slices the truth with surgical precision. Living up to the hype is not the same thing as surpassing it. Michael Jeffrey Jordan didn't arrive with a crown. Nobody in 1984 was calling him the king. Nobody was clearing a throne. He had to earn every ounce of glory. He had to steal it. Not from scrubs, not from role players, but from giants. From Bird Celtics. From Magic Showtime. From Isaiah's Pistons. From Ewing's Knicks. From Peyton's Sonics. From Malone's Jazz. Every step was through blood, sweat, and punishment. Jordan entered a league that was a battlefield. Hand-checking was legal. Clotheslines at the rim was strategy. The bad boys didn't just want to beat him. They wanted to break him. They drew up rules on how to foul him, how to hit him, how to make him doubt himself. And yet, he adapted. He grew stronger. He came back every year sharper, tougher, and meaner. The NBA didn't bend for Michael Jordan. He bent it into his own kingdom. Now compare that to LeBron's era. Yes, he's dominated. Yes, he's rewritten the longevity book. But the league he inherited was different. Finesse, spacing, pace and space basketball. Rules designed to protect stars, to open lanes, to boost offense for TV. LeBron is insulated in ways Jordan never was. Social media cushions him. Branding empires protect him. Narratives get spun in real time. Jordan didn't have that safety net. One off game, and the papers buried him. One playoff loss, and critics lined up to question if he'd ever win. LeBron has critics, sure, but Jordan had assassins. Men who dedicated their careers to knocking him off the mountain. And here's the kicker Stephen A. hammers home. LeBron has handled his kind of pressure with greatness. But Jordan didn't just handle it. He redefined it. He became the very standard. The measuring stick. The symbol. The benchmark by which every superstar, including LeBron himself, will forever be judged. Think about it. LeBron's goal has always been to catch Jordan. The debate isn't, is Jordan as good as LeBron? No. The debate is LeBron as good as Jordan? That alone tells you the hierarchy. Jordan set the bar. LeBron has spent 20 years trying to reach it, and that's Stephen A.'s bottom line. Greatness isn't about numbers alone. It's about fear. It's about dominance. It's about how the game bends when you step on the floor. LeBron fills stat sheets. Jordan broke psyches. LeBron inspires respect. Jordan inspired terror pressure. LeBron carried the weight of expectation. Jordan carried the weight of an entire league that wanted him gone. And he still rose. 6'4", 6 finals MVPs. Never blinked. Never broken.
You're a big boy, you look like a passing officer, but you're still a young pup. You might not.
Stephen A. isn't some blind hater foaming at the mouth. He's not here to throw dirt on LeBron's name. He knows greatness when he sees it. He's said it time and time again. LeBron James is one of the greatest players the game has ever seen. Period. The man carried the weight of expectation from the time he was 16 years old, and not only lived up to it, but in many ways exceeded it. That's historic. That's legendary, but this conversation? This isn't about tearing LeBron down. It's about something bigger. It's about protecting the sanctity of Michael Jordan's journey, because respecting LeBron doesn't mean forgetting the hellfire that Jordan walked through. It doesn't mean pretending that two paths, so drastically different, are somehow equal. LeBron's story? Legendary. Jordan's story? Biblical. Let's call it what it is. LeBron's rise was curated, polished, and televised in crystal clear HD. The networks were ready for him. The marketing machine was waiting. Every step of his career was documented, protected, and spun into storylines. He was a prodigy groomed for the throne. Jordan's rise? Forged in the dirt, in the blood, in the raw, unfiltered heat of resistance. Nothing was handed to him. No built-in kingdom waiting. He carved his place by ripping it out of the hands of legends who wanted nothing more than to bury him. Detroit tried to break him. Boston tried to deny him. New York tried to wear him down. Every single night was a war, and every war left scars, and that's a part Stephen A. refuses to let people forget. Giving LeBron his props doesn't rewrite the definition of toughness. Toughness is Jordan. Not just physical, not just mental, existential. He didn't just meet expectations, he created them. He built the very blueprint for modern superstardom and forced the entire league to kneel to it.so when people tried to flatten their journeys into the same story. When they act like LeBron's curated rise equals Jordan's crucible of fire. Stephen A. calls it like it is. Not only is that wrong, it's disrespectful. LeBron's legacy stands tall. But Jordan's, it stands alone.
About the pressure that was inflicted because you said that you were the chosen one. Now, in fairness to LeBron James, he has more than lived up.
Stephen A. pulls no punches when he breaks down the league Michael Jordan walked into. Chaotic, unforgiving, ruthless. This wasn't the polished, TV-friendly NBA that we know today. No, no, no. In 1984, when Jordan arrived, the NBA was a storm. Drug scandals off the court, killers on the court. Every night was survival. And let's get something straight. Jordan wasn't the golden boy. He wasn't the chosen one with cameras following him since high school. He wasn't handed a crown before he ever dribbled an NBA basketball. He was a third pick. Third. He didn't walk in with a hype shield. He didn't get coddled by media corporations ready to protect an investment. What he got was a target on his back and a league full of grown men waiting to test him. Jordan had to fight tooth and nail just to earn the microphone, let alone the throne. The Pistons wanted to break him. The Celtics wanted to bury him. The Knicks wanted to drag him into the mud. And he survived all of it. No excuses, no shortcuts. He didn't just play in that storm, he rose in it. Now let's contrast that with LeBron. By the time he entered the NBA in 2003, the league was mid-makeover. The rough edges were being sanded down. Media-friendly branding was a focus. Rule changes had already started tilting toward offense, spacing, and pace. The NBA needed LeBron to succeed, and it gave him every tool to do so, and that's not hate, that's context. LeBron was great enough to seize those tools and build an empire. But Jordan thrived in a league where luxuries didn't exist, where every inch of respect was carved out of pain. That's why Stephen A. stresses it over and over. Jordan didn't just rise, he rose in the storm, and that storm forged a level of toughness LeBron James has never had to taste.
Got a lot of nonsense going on in the National Basketball Association. Jordan comes in '84. He was the number 3.
From the very moment he laced him up in Chicago, Michael Jordan wasn't easing into anything. He didn't arrive in the NBA with a grace period. He didn't get to sit back and find himself. And he certainly wasn't groomed or coddled into stardom. No, Michael Jordan detonated. From day one, he was a live grenade dropped into the middle of the league. Instant superstar, instant chaos, instant nightmare for every single defender who thought, even for a second, that they could humble him. And let's not get it twisted, there was no soft entry for him. The league didn't clear the path, didn't roll out the red carpet, didn't tilt the rules to make him shine. Jordan didn't step into a media-friendly era. He stepped into a war zone, an NBA that was still crawling out of scandal, weighed down by off-court mess, and dominated by on-court killers. Every night he had to prove himself against men who had no interest in sharing their stage with a flashy kid from North Carolina. That's a core difference Stephen A. pounds the table about. Jordan didn't wait for favorable conditions. He created them. His rise wasn't pre-packaged, wasn't polished by social media hype, wasn't cushioned by billion-dollar branding machines that made him untouchable before he ever played a game. His rise was earned, forged out of sweat, pain, and pure audacity that you've got to remember. Magic Johnson and Larry Bird weren't just great players. They were the faces of the league, cultural icons in their own right. And yet, Jordan didn't flinch. He didn't bow. He didn't quietly bide his time until the throne was vacant. From the jump, he looked those legends dead in the eye and said, "I'm here. I'm coming for everything. And I'm not waiting." That's not arrogance. That's destiny colliding with reality.